This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel. And good news, your first place in your fantasy football league looks like you're going to be winning the pool this year. Sure, you weren't the idiot who picked Tom Brady to be in your league. So why not take advantage of that and already start planning your next trip to Walt Disney World that's going to be based on those winnings you're going to be taking from your fantasy football league. MEI and Mousefan Travel is the best travel agency for using your fantasy football winnings to book your next trip with. They'll make it that much easier on you. So that way, as you're raking in the money from your fantasy football league, they can have your trip ready for you to go. Give them a try. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, September 10th, 2008, and this is episode 460 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hodgeberg of StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. And joining us for 2 shows in a row, it's Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Can't believe it.
Well, I heard that this was Len's podcast, so I figure I should, come on.
Exactly.
Oh, we should mention I was on a flight to Connecticut. And I was on an AirTran flight. I picked up the magazine. There's an article about Orlando. I'm like, what do they know about Orlando? I pick it up. Who's got a feature article right in the middle of the magazine?
The AirTran magazine.
Yeah, Len Testa.
Are you kidding?
Next time you fly AirTran, pick up the issue of Go magazine, and it's right there, right in the middle of the magazine. Len Testa.
Wow. Did you save a copy?
Yeah, I have one.
Nice.
Yeah, makes great bathroom reading material.
I'll bet.
You read it while you were in the
Also, see, Matt didn't say that when he called me up. He said, I flipped open the magazine because I saw the headline that said something like, Walt Disney World Insider Knowledge. And I said, let me see what kind of BS they're spouting out in this magazine.
Exactly.
And then he saw my picture like, oh, really? It is BS.
Also joining us is Mike Scopa, blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
When your values are clear to you, making decisions becomes easier.
My mother last week. Swing and a miss. All right. Any other guesses?
When your values... Say it again.
When your values are clearer to you, making decisions become easier.
Captain EO. I don't know.
Splashtacular.
Well, look for your All-Ears.net newsletter this weekend. You'll find the answer.
All right. Anyway, it's Wednesday, and we're answering listener questions. And we'll start out with Dean in Connecticut, who writes, hey, Mike, Matt, Len, and the fabulous Annette, if present. I've been listening to you guys and gal for quite some time and enjoy your realistic insight and views of Walt Disney World, even if I had to endure Patriots, Giants, and Red Sox comments. Go Jets, go Yanks.
Yay.
That's right. Well, half that is all right.
Yay.
Anyway, I'm hoping I get one of those well-thought-out touring plans for the holiday season. My wife and I are heading back to the world for the 3rd time this year. We love these annual passes. And we're going back specifically for Mousefest and holiday decorations. We're flying in on Thursday, December 11th at night and leaving midday on Sunday. So we only have 2 full days to tour. And Friday night, we are planning on attending Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. What would you say is the best approach for us? Our goals are to see any unique park events that are holiday specific, attend some of the Mousefest events, especially the Mega Mouse Meet, and see the best resort decorations. We don't really care too much about riding the rides unless the rides are altered significantly for the season. This is for December 2008, so hopefully I've given you enough time to respond. Scopa?
Well, wow. So they're arriving Thursday night and leaving Sunday. Did they say what time Sunday?
They do not.
Okay. Well, Thursday night obviously is over because depending upon what time they fly in. So Friday. I guess the thing to do would be to I would take in Epcot on Friday, try to do holidays around World Showcase and try to listen to the storytellers. Try to do that and then go over to Mickey's Very Merry that night. On Saturday night, I guess I would. Oh boy, they're going to have to make a decision as to whether. I guess they could. They could do the Osborne lights. I was going to say the Osborne lights early on Saturday night, and then shoot over to Epcot to see Illuminations.
Why don't you just switch?
I've got a better idea. Why didn't they see the Osborne lights, but then also join the 4 of us at Mousefest for the Fantasmic dessert party? Yes.
Yeah, who's going to do that?
Well, it's a shameless plug. I'll put a link in it if you are interested in that.
I'll be there, man. I'll go with you.
Well, what Friday? Why don't they do the Magic Kingdom resorts for Christmas decorations before going to Mickey's Very Merry on Friday?
That's a good idea.
And then Saturday do the Osborne lights at 6, and then head over to Epcot.
I like that idea.
Sounds good. They just don't see holidays around the world, around World Showcase.
Well, you can only.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. You can get a couple hours of it. You can get an hour or so of it in.
Next email, and Newell, I'm going to go on a limb here and say this listener might be a new listener. And see, this is what happens when you miss shows. So let me know when you think that something here is wrong, Newell.
Okay.
It's from Jennifer from Rockaway Point, New York. Writes, "Hi, everyone. Love the show. I'm planning a trip to Disney for next September, and am writing now since I have a tiny chance of maybe getting my question answered. Okay, here it is. Does the Polynesian or the Beach Club have playgrounds? I can't find any info on this. Some of the resorts have and don't. Please help. Thanks. Do I have to shamelessly kiss up? Okay, here it goes. Len, Van Halen rocks. Matt, the studios are my favorite park. Woo! And go Yankees. Mike Newell, go Giants."
Well, she said, go Yankees and go Giants. What's the next listener question?
Mike Scopa, "I am not a Red Sox fan. Sorry. Any New England team fan. I am from New York. Sorry. I've stayed at Scopa Towers, and that's my favorite hotel."
All right, I guess.
I guess.
She's still
Anyway,
0 for 2 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, check the wiki for Mike Newell's favorite football team.
And the Yankees, come on. Come on.
May they rest in peace.
Yeah. Good luck, bro.
All right, so Len, does the Polynesian or the Beach Club have playgrounds?
I don't think the Poly does. Beach Club.
I'm trying to think if the Beach Club does.
Yeah, where would they put it at the Beach Club? I can't think of anywhere.
I know they have a volleyball court out over there, and they have Stormalong Bay, which is basically a water-based.
It's a water,
playground.
But no,
Playground is the video arcade, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where they might have them, but I don't think of it. I can't think of any offhand.
I can't think of any either.
Okay. Next email is from Brian from Valhalla, New York. He writes, "Hey, Matt, Mike, and Len, and most importantly, Annette." Boy, Annette's missing more shows than Newell is.
I missed 4 shows.
Brian writes, "I'm a new listener, and I've spent the last couple of weeks marathoning your podcasts. I can't seem to stop listening. I recently listened to your reaction to the Tower of Terror 13K, and I couldn't agree more. I ran in that event, waited what seemed like hours for the race to start, and then managed to get one of the unpleasant and sweaty rides on Tower of Terror. I've run in the marathon for the last 3 years. This year will be my first Goofy, and I expected great things from that race. And yet, when a friend of mine suggested we run as a team the upcoming Everest event, which seems to be shrouded in mystery, is it a race? Is it a scavenger hunt? Is it an obstacle course? I have no idea. I couldn't turn down a perfectly good excuse to schedule a trip to the world during the September season. My teammate is a frequent Disney travel partner, but we're also bringing along 2 friends who are new to Walt Disney World. Knowing our obvious love for everything Walt Disney World, they're both excited and expecting great things. They aren't running in the race, but do you think bringing them to the Everest 5K after hours party is a mistake? The night of the event is also the last night of operations for Pleasure Island. I took a trip in August to Bidadoo to the Adventurers Club, but do you think it might be a better idea to send the non-runners there? Or will the place be so swamped, especially with people who have been there countless times, that they won't enjoy it at all or feel like outsiders?
That's a good question. Would you go on the last night that everything's open? My guess is that that it probably would be more crowded than normal. Yeah, so maybe go the night before that?
I think that last week is going to be very crowded. I can tell you why. Disney's already anticipating it because they've suspended cast members' ability to get into Pleasure Island for free that week because they are basically anticipating a lot of people going that last week, especially locals. I think it's really going to swamp, especially that last evening. Scopa, what are your thoughts?
I tend to agree with Len. I was listening to the question. I was, hemming and hawing about, what I would recommend. I think that last week's going to be crazy for Adventures Club. As far as that Everest thing, I have no idea what to expect. I know it's not your typical race. It's a different kind of a race. It's more like a scavenger hunt, and because of that, I think it's going to appeal to more people than just your everyday runners. I think that's going to be a crazy place. I think the park's going to be jammed that night. So that's my guess. I mean, there is no history to go by, so I have no idea. I do know that Len will remember last year the Tower of Terror race was pretty crowded. It had a lot of people at the studio, so I'm guessing that the Animal Kingdom is going to have a lot of people for this Everest Challenge.
Yeah, I'm going to add one more thing. Being someone who attended the Tower of Terror race as a party guest, not as like a racer, Newell, you were there also.
You're an athletic supporter.
Exactly. Yes, I wasn't John. One thing I wanted to mention was that if your friends who are going, Brian, are going to be supporting you, meaning they're going to be along the race course, like cheering you on, I really, if they want to be there, that's one thing. But really, once the race was over, at least at the Tower of Terror race, there was really only opportunity to ride, I think, one or twice on one of the rides. If they're going there for the party event, like if they're going there to ride rides over and over and over again and not necessarily be there to cheer you on, then it can be actually worth it for them because they can get a bunch of rides in, given the amount of time that they'll have over there. But, that's a tough choice. I think it also depends on them in terms of are they the kind of people that like going to nightclubs and the sort of place where Adventures Club is and the other clubs over there, or are they kind of more quiet people who would prefer kind of, just to be along there with you along the race. So that might factor into it also. Next email is from Nora, aka Tinky Bell on WDWToday.com. Hoorah! Who writes, first, I have to tell you that I just listened to the episode where you ate your way around the world in 2.5 hours. What the heck were you thinking? Bad idea, but made for a hilarious episode. Please keep those bad ideas coming. So anyway, I'm going to be visiting Walt Disney World December 13th through the 18th and staying at the Beach Club Villas. This will be only my second trip to Walt Disney World during the holidays. This time, I plan to attend Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and we'd like to book a candlelight processional dinner package. The tickets for Very Merry are already on sale, and already, of course, the candlelight processional dinner packages are also on sale. Also, I'll be there during Mouse Fest, so I'd really like to attend some of the events, but no event dates have been posted anywhere. Is this unusual, seeing as it's only a few months away? Scopa?
Mr. Scopa?
I think that that if you look at last year, we really did not start posting the events until September, and we are in September. There is some planning going on right now. There are some decisions being made this coming week, so I believe you will start seeing something, and possibly maybe registration will be opening up pretty soon too. I think that if you don't see anything by the end of September, then you know that there's something wrong. But I would say before the end of this month, you will see things. And if you go to mousefest.org, and I don't know if we still have last year's schedule up, but a lot of the things that were that we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years are probably going to be in place for this year. There may be a few tweaks. There may be a few differences, maybe a change. Well, there's definitely a change with the Mega Mouse Meet, but being held in the morning and being held at the Yacht Club. Yacht and Beach Club, and there may be a few others, but I would say, give it a few weeks and you'll start seeing some of the official meets being posted. But we are not later than last year, that's for sure.
Okay, and of course, Nora, I will be sure to shamelessly plug my own Fantasmic dessert party, which is of course having on Saturday, December 13th. Anyway, Nora also asks, I also have a question about queues and chicken exits. I don't do thrill rides, but based on what I hear on your podcast, it's worth it to go through some of the queues and then taking the chicken exit. Can you name a few that I could do? I was there in May and tried to do that in Mission Space, but turned out there was actually nothing to see, just a big wheel thingamajig.
Kali River Rapids is one example of a queue that's fabulous to walk through, even if you don't go on the ride. Another one is Expedition Everest.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are fabulous.
Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster both offer some very interesting queues that you'll definitely want to take advantage of, I would say.
Toy Story Mania.
Oh, yeah, well, although I can't imagine you wouldn't want to ride that. I mean, that's not a thrill ride by any means. But yeah, you're right about it.
You never know. Yeah, is there a chicken? I don't even know if there is a chicken exit, is there?
You'd have to step across.
You'd be chickening out from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think in the Space Mountain, I believe you can. Although the queue isn't worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's rather dull. I mean, it's a bunch of lights.
It was back in the day. It was sort of cool
but Mike Newell's bedroom is pretty much set up like that now, so it's not really that. I've seen that.
I play the music and everything.
Any other attraction? Splash Mountain is worth it, I think. Even if you don't want to get wet on it, there is a chicken exit. It's very large, actually. There's a staircase you can take to bypass. You only have to ask a cast member about that one. Any others come to mind?
Nope.
No? Okay. Very good. Next email is from Abigail Burns, who writes, I'm a new listener, but I love the show. I was wondering, what's the story behind Newell and the camera shop? Newell? What's the story between you and the camera shop?
I thought you were still going. the way he ended that sentence, I thought he was still going.
There was no. Usually, Matt, in English, when your voice is supposed to inflect up at the end of a question.
The bees are on the what now?
What at the wedding blues? Oh, never mind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, back in the day, the camera shop was a little more electronic friendly, if you will. It was. It's become another place to buy High School Musical stuff. I almost said another word, but stuff. And back in the day, they used to sell camcorders and high tech cameras and lenses. And I used to like going in there to check out all the new things. But now it's not even worth going in. But that's where that joke came from.
Okay. Next email is from Jess Evans of Richmond, Virginia, who writes, Matt, Mike, and Len, I'm in the beginning stages of planning my next trip to the world, and I'm looking at ways to save money. I'm planning a trip for my wife and myself for mid-October 2009. We're thinking of going for 7 days and staying on property, but not sure what resort yet. Do you guys think it would help at all to get annual pass? We only get to go down. Boy, that sounds familiar. We only get to go down about every 2 years, but I've heard Len talk about the break-even point for having the annual pass and using it to apply discounts to your trip. Is there a break-even point for 2 adults that wouldn't end up with us staying for a month? Although I would love to be able to stay for that long. My desperate mouse wife might just abandon me there.
I know what he's going to say.
So for deluxe resorts, the break-even point's around 3 or 4 nights. For moderate resorts, it's like around 6. And for value resorts, it doesn't make sense to get an annual pass right now.
Right.
Okay. That was nice and concise. I like that.
Thanks. That's me, Mr. Concise.
Next email's from Phil from Litchfield, England.
Phil.
Hi guys, I'm a keen jogger and traveling to Walt Disney World very soon, staying at Caribbean Beach. I'm training for the 2008 Great North Run, the world's biggest half marathon held in Newcastle, United Kingdom in October. I'll be maintaining my training regimen whilst on vacation. Whilst, that's just a...
Whilst.
Whilst. No, is it whilst or whilst?
Whilst.
That sounds like a bad southern pronunciation.
No, it's like whilst.
Whilst?
Whilst.
Yeah, while on, whilst.
While I am on, yes.
Welcome to English 101.
Anyway, I know that Caribbean Beach has a 1 mile jogging track, but I tend to run about 5 miles per day. So my options are to do the Caribbean Beach circuit 5 times, boring, or find a 5 mile route around Walt Disney World. Can you suggest a good route, or point me in the direction of where I can find one?
Scopo, what's that software the website they use?
Mapmyrun.com. You can do that. You need to start off with a address that you plug in, and from there you can map out a run. You can try a different type of course and find what works for you. Regarding the Caribbean, one of the problems I used to run around the Caribbean. Len said it's boring. If you come out of the Caribbean, you're going to be running on Lake Buena Vista Drive, and that's so busy. I would suggest trying to run on the very outer rim of the Caribbean Beach Resort property, and you might be able to get away with maybe 1.25 miles for one loop, rather than just maybe 0.8 of a mile or 0.9 of a mile.
Oh, that's a pretty cool website. Let me put mine in here. Let's see. Starting point 49.
You mind?
Hey, the address for Caribbean Beach, by the way, is 900 Cayman Way, Lake Buena Vista, Florida, 32830, 1000, USA.
Cool. Next email is from Chris from Sterling Heights, Michigan, who writes, Hi guys, as usual, I love the podcast. Do you ever tire of hearing that? I think not. My question is a rather complicated one. I'm a PhD student in film and media studies, and while my dissertation doesn't directly deal with Disney per se, some of the research I'm doing does. I'm heading down to the park in December for a much-needed vacation, and while I'm down there, I figure I'd get some of my work done, namely photographing queue areas for certain rides. I don't want to bore you with the topic of my dissertation, but if you're interested, email me back and I'll tell you. Ideally, I'd like to be able to take these photographs with as few guests in the ride as possible to get accurate pictures. Do any of you know the best way to contact Walt Disney World to get into the park either really early or really late to do some of this research? I had a few ideas, but wanted to consult the experts first.
I don't know if they do it. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to ask.
Oh.
I think it's gonna be really tough. You know what you might have a better shot with is actually talking to the cast members one-on-one, kind of tell them what you're doing. Show up there very early in the day, right for park opening. It'll be very easy for non-popular attractions. Like if you show up for Sounds Dangerous first, I mean, they'll probably open, no problem. I've had opportunities where all I have to do is ask a cast member, and like I've asked them, can I ride Tower of Terror by myself? So I'd be the only one in the car. Usually it worked out because there weren't that many people there anyway. And they've allowed me to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, so asking never hurts, and that's what I would definitely do is try to get there and focus on a couple of attractions that you want to get photos of, and hopefully the cast member will be in a good enough mood and want to help you out. Because a lot of times I think they'll be very helpful to you, but I don't think Disney themselves is actually going to do much for you because it's just it's going to be very difficult.
It's not what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Next email is from Megan from Pennsylvania. Who writes, hi, Matt, Mike, and Len. I just got back from Walt Disney World on Saturday, and I thought I'd give my opinion on touring plans for Toy Story Mania. I believe this may be the best way to see the ride, at least through the summer, until all the hype has died down. I recommend going to Toy Story Mania first, grabbing a Fast Pass, then riding the ride through the normal line. That way you'll be able to come back later, but you will have a chance to hopefully see Mr. Potato Head at least once. Unfortunately, he wasn't running when I went through the regular line. After that, I would head back to Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror and ride that whichever has a shorter time. You may have had a long wait to Toy Story, so hopefully you can get another Fast Pass by the time you're done with one of these rides. Maybe once the hype has died down, Toy Story won't have as much of a wait, but for now, it should be done first.
Yeah, I agree. We actually moved Toy Story Mania to first in the unofficial guide touring plans. But we're not recommending that you ride and then get a Fast Pass for it. Because I think if you're trying to get through the other attractions in the park, Fast Pass is better used elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree, Len. Although I have, with these past couple of weeks now, that's September, I was in the studios this past Sunday, and the waits it was actually better. I was able to there were actually Fast Passes beyond noontime.
Oh, wow, that's good.
That's the first time I've ever seen that. The wait times were only, I think the max was about 40 to 60 minutes, which actually is, 60 minutes is the max I saw, so that actually wasn't too bad. So at least, looking at the off season in September, it's somewhat promising for those who are looking to get down there.
Cool.
Next email is from Tim from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, who writes, hey, Matt, Mike, and Len, and maybe Annette. Nope. Long-time listener and questioner. We recently made a visit to the world, choosing the dates May 1st to the 7th based on advice from you gurus. We'd never been to in May before, and we loved it. The weather could not have been better. High 80s, sunny, and dry every day. Awesome. It was busier than we expected Thursday through Sunday, but on Sunday we could see the crowd thinning out. But thanks to the good book and its website, we never waited any attraction more than 20 minutes.
It's a good book.
That's awesome.
The good book, I like that.
It's great.
So there are many things I encountered on the trip that I'd like to chat with you about. But for this email, I'd like to talk about the Beach Club. We stayed at the Beach Club for the first time and really enjoyed it. We had a great room that was an upgrade to a water view thanks to MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Ooh, that was timely. They made all of our arrangements from ADRs to Cirque du Soleil, and everything went like clockwork. So the Beach Club is great, but has two weaknesses in my opinion. One, no transportation to the front entrance to Epcot. Now, I know we're right next door, but as you know, there are days when you like to cut out that walk to Future World. But the biggest weakness was counter service meals at the Beach Club. The Beach Club Marketplace is the gift shop, is not large enough to accommodate all the guests. And if Stormalong Bay was crowded, forget Hurricane Hannah's. It was like the Three Stooges make lunch. The Beach Club really needs a place like Roaring Forks at the Wilderness Lodge. I think they should take Ariel's and make that into a counter service restaurants. What do you think? Glenn?
I think that's a great idea.
I don't think it'll happen because, Ariel's just money,
But still, that's fabulous.
Have you heard that a lot, Len, about the counter service problems at the Beach Club?
No, but, I can never get in because it's so slow over there. I've been there 2 or 3 times now with Hannah, and I've not been able to go in. So...
Well, speaking of opinions, the next one's from Sue Coppola, who writes, I just heard your latest review on Artist Point and have to say that we had a similar waitstaff experience in February. Although it was not the same waiter that you experienced. This time, she pounced on us quickly, brought the first round of beverages quickly, took a second order for beverages, and then was not seen for quite some time. She brought the second round while our meal was actually being served. She refused them, and she looked puzzled. It had been 20 minutes since she had taken the order for the second round. Dinner itself was delightful. Food was wonderful. No complaints, except that she had totally disappeared. A rovering manager stopped by to ask if dinner had been good, and was there anything that we could do for us? We replied that the dessert menu didn't have any kind of chocolate on it, that we would have shared a piece of it had they had it. So, That's Sue's opinion of it. I had an interesting opinion, not at Artist's Point, but I went to Beer Garden the other week. I had a very interesting occurrence. I had a waitress that was non-existent at Beer Garden. I was using the dining experience, and she just didn't show. She delivered she came over. It's a buffet, so hello, welcome to the Beer Garden. Can I take your drink order? And she didn't show up again until we were almost ready for dessert. Done with our food. So our plates, we had like 3 or 4 stacks of plates that never got emptied. So I was kind of upset, and I said, you know what? I'm not paying 18% because with Disney Dining Experience, you have to automatically include the tip. So I asked to speak to the manager.
Right.
So the manager comes over, and I explained the situation, and he was very cool. He was like, you know what? No problem. I'll take it off, and you can tip as much as you want. Great. So I'm waiting for the bill to come, and our waitress comes by, and she brings the bill. She leaves. I'm filling out the bill, and she comes by for another time. I swear to God, she hip-checked me. She was.
Did you really?
The way it's true. I was sitting down in my chair, and there's another party behind us, and their chairs, to my back, basically. She hip checked me as she walked by me.
That's
didn't say
awesome.
a thing to me. I was like, what? Like
I know why.
Yeah, I know why too.
There may be something there that wasn't there before.
Ah. I noticed something while I was down there in the last couple of weeks. Especially the higher end restaurants, every time the first thing they say, "Are you on any dining plan?" And I'll say, "No, we're paying in cash." I always got a thumbs up or a big grin or a big smile or some sort of sigh of relief that we weren't on any kind of plan. And
I'm going to have to start saying that. Why, no, I'm not. And I am a generous tipper.
We were at Chico's, and the guy gave us 2 thumbs up when he asked that. When I said, "No, I'll be paying cash," and he went, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said that too.
He's got a boat payment too.
I think I think the reason why that's happening, to be honest, is I think that many of the average Walt Disney World guest doesn't know how it works, and the cast member has spent a lot of time explaining it to them. So I think it's kind of a hassle for them almost, in order to deal with guests who are on the dining plan, because they'll say, "Can I order this and order this and order this?" And the bill comes and there's something on there that wasn't covered. Why isn't this on here? Why did I get charged for it? I thought I had the dining plan. No one told me that this, you know what I mean?
Right,
that kind of thing.
It's more of an explaining detail than it is. Yeah.
So I think if you're just ordering cash, hey, it's pretty simple. You get billed for the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you know what? It's about time for our last email. So that means, Mike Newell, you're back to taking charge here and picking our last email.
Well, the last time it didn't go so well, so I figured I had to come back.
All right. So I'll give you 3 questions to choose from. First one is multiple big event trip. Second question is half marathon. And third question is titled, Ooh, Newell, pick me for the last question.
Wow. Let's see. That multiple big trip sounds intriguing. What was the second one again?
Multiple big event trip, half marathon, or Ooh, Newell, pick me for the last question.
All right, I'm going to go... Are you done? Oh, I hate when he does that. I'm going to go with the half marathon. Ooh, Newell, pick me for $200.
All right. Now you know how many questions now we're going to get with that title in there? Everyone's going to put in their title, Ooh, Newell, pick me. Well, this guy, this is the next email's from Joel from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Joel, you are a smart man. Everyone else is just going to copy you like crazy, though, so this will only work once for you. Anyway, Joel writes, next May, I want to combine a short Disney trip with a non-Disney cruise. Gasp. I will be taking a cruise out of Port Canaveral and then travel to a Disney resort. What is the best way to get from the port to Disney property? I'm fine with Disney transportation, so I don't really want to rent a car, and I can use Magical Express to get to the airport for the flight home. I can't take a Disney cruise shuttle from the port to their property if I'm not a Disney cruiser, can I? I believe the answer to that is no, you can't use Disney transportation to get from a non-Disney cruise to Disney World. A couple options come to mind. One of the things that you can do is rent a car, a one-way rental car, which you mentioned you're not terribly thrilled with, although that is an option for you. You can take a taxi. That's an option for you. Newell, can you think of anything else? Any other option that I'm missing?
Does Mears run a shuttle to the port?
That's a good question if they do that. I'm not sure.
I honestly don't know, but it's the only other thing I can think of. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm thinking those are going to be really your 2 options that are available to you. Also, check with your cruise company, and also, whatever you're going with, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, whoever it may be. The other thing you might want to also consider is checking with maybe a travel agent. They may be able to assist you better with that. They may think of something that I'm not familiar with. Obviously, if you're taking a Disney cruise and you want to go to Walt Disney World, there are transfers that are available to you. They cost about $60 or so.
That one-way rental that we did last Mouse Fest worked out pretty good, Matt. We only rented the car to go to the airport to pick up another car.
Yeah, it was great. I thought it really worked out well. If you play your cards right now, Budget does it. I'm using Budget for my next cruise where I'm taking a non-Disney cruise, and it's actually from Orlando to the cruise terminal, and vice versa. Obviously, it works just the same. And they can, from the cruise terminal, what happened is they'll send a shuttle to come pick you up at the cruise terminal. They'll bring you back to the rental car facility where you'll pick up your car, and then you can bring the car to the cruise terminal to pick up your luggage and the rest of your family. So that's probably, I think, going to be the best option. Well, that's it for us today. And don't forget that this episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, the official travel agency of WDW Today. They are a great service that offer you the ability to help you plan your next trip to Walt Disney World and make it that much easier on yourself. Give them a try. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Silva, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.